Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Satgurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavidvaram Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayuta Mukhyam Sri Ramadutam Sirasa Namami. Santoshini Jaganmata Mama Saubhagyavriddhaye Namaskaromi Bhaktya Tvam Prasanna Varada Bhava. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashandaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Satchitanandarupaya Vishwotpattyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Sri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Nilambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Mahasayaka Charuchapam Namami Ramam Raghuvamsanatham. Janmatyasya yatonvayati taratacharteshu vigna swarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adigavaye Mukhyanti Yat Surayaha Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Damna Svena Sada Nirastakukagam Satyam Param Dhimahi. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. We are on the third canto, 7th chapter. We have seen the story that Vidurji was told by Uddhava to go to this Maitreya Rishi and learn from him Srimad Bhagavatam, which was given to him towards the end of Bhagavan's departure. So, Vidurji approached him near Haridwar and asked 100 questions. An answer to this 100 question is the whole Bhagavatam. We have seen some of the questions earlier, but those questions are continuing. So, evam brvanam maitreyam dvaipayana sudobhuta prinayanniva bharatya vidura pratyabhashata. As if to please Maitreya, who concluded with the above remark. The remark was, Ato Bhagavato Maya, Mayinam api Mohini. Yatsvayam chatma vartmatma naveda kimutapare. This Maitrishi says, Bhagavan, Maya is such. Ato Bhagavato Maya, Mayinam api mohini. It's a very beautiful way of saying the mysterious power of Maya, of the Lord. It deludes even the greatest yogis. The extent of his own Maya, Mayinam api mohini. Bhagavan is called Mayadhipati or Maya, free from all Maya. But he says, even Bhagavan get as though deluded with his own Maya. So even Bhagavan himself become helpless when Maya is at work. Now it's something like you are driving a car, but the car started. The steering wheel is in your hand, but then we don't know where the car will go. Suppose you lose the grip of the steering wheel, then you don't know where the car will go. The same way, Bhagavan has, it is his own Maya, but he has given her the freedom. So there, where she will go, what she will do, that's why Mayinam api mohini. It looks as though she deludes even Bhagavan. Therefore, salutation to the Lord from whom words along with the mind fall. Yado prapya nevartanda vachascha manasa saha aham cha anya ime devan tasmai bhagavate namaha. In Taittiriya Upanishad, there is a sentence, yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. So, from where mind and words come back without knowing the truth, that truth, my namaskar. Now, this is what he concluded in the 6th chapter. So, a continuation of this, Vidurji is asking question again. Brahman katam bhagavatat chinmatrasya avikarinaha leelaya chapi yunjeran nirgunasya gunakriya. How can attributes and action be possible with the Supreme Lord, who is the nature of pure consciousness, changeless and free from all gunas? Even if you say it is a sportive action, avikarinaha, without any modification, even if you say the creation is Bhagavan's Leela, even how is that possible? This is the question of Vidurji. So he explained that Kridaya Mutyamor Kamachikredinat Chikredishanyadaha Sadastriptasya Jakatam Nivrittasya Sadanyata. He explained his question. Even a child can have natural desire to play, or it can be told by others like mother, go and play, or it can be induced by others to play. In the case of the Lord, being ever satisfied, swatatriptasya, he is contented, nothing wanting in him, self-satisfied. How can there be any desire in him even to play? So playing also, when you play, you feel bored, then only you pray, right? Play. But here, Bhagavan is not bored. He is ever reveling in Ananda, bliss. So how can he be interested in sport? Or nobody can tell him to do that also, because nobody is there other than him. So how can there is somebody else other than him to prompt him to do the Leela? Asrachet Bhagavan Vishwam Gunamavyatmamayayam Taya Samsthapayatetat Bhuya Pratyavidasyati. Let it be that the Lord creates the world by his power of Maya, constitute of three gunas, and that by it alone he sustained and dissolved it afterwards. Now, Deshadakalato yosavastadas sudonyadaha aviluptava bodhatma sayucheda jaya katham. That Lord, whose nature is unerasable consciousness, unerasable by space, time, or any conditioning factor, then such Paramatma, how can he fall into ignorance? So the question is, because Paramatma himself is Jiva, how did that Paramatma became Jiva? Jiva means what? Ignorant Atma. So how come this ignorance come into existence? This is the question. Now the sixth verse. Bhagavaneka evaisha sarvakshetresha vastitaha amushyat durbhagatvam va klesho va karma bhikkhutaha. It is Bhagavan alone who resides in all bodies as Jiva. In 13th chapter also Bhagavan said, Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. Bhagavan himself is the Kshetrajna in all bodies. So he remains a Jiva. How can he be subject to loss of bliss and to suffering due to his karma? Because that Paramatma, Mamayvamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, 15th chapter Bhagavan said that. Then in 18th chapter, but Ishwaras Sarvabhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati Brahmayan Sarvabhutanam Yantra Rudhani Maya. So that Bhagavan, who is residing in everyone's heart, how can he go through suffering? Due to his karma, it is said. Where does this karma come for him? Etasmin me mano vitvan khityade jnana sangade panna paranuda vipo kasmalam manasam mahade. I said, O learned one, my mind is agitated by this problem of ajnana. Please eradicate this great doubt of mine. Now Maitreya Rishi answers very beautifully. Seyam bhagavato maya yenna yena virutyate ishwarasya vimuktasya karpanyamudabandhanam. He says, Maya or mysterious power of the Lord is Sayam Bhagavato Maya. That is called Maya. Why? Yan Nayena Virudhyate. It beats all logic. You try to prove logically the existence of Maya, you will fail. Because every logic that you use to prove hit a wall all the time. Because why? The existence of Maya is so mysterious that you cannot establish its existence by logic. You know why? You cannot say it exists. You cannot say it doesn't exist. So it is not Sat, it is not Asat. So it is an in-between state. That's why in English we say apparent state. In Sanskrit it is said Akadita Katana Padiyasi Maya. That which is impossible, it make it possible. How? Shankaracharya introduces the Brahma Sutra through Adhyasa Bhashya. There he establishes how difficult is this Maya, how difficult to establish logically this Maya, Maya's existence. Why? Because one is sentient, another is it's insentient. What is that? Our body, our mind, our intellect, ego, all of them are inert in nature. And what is the nature of Paramatma? That is sentiency. Now, how can a sentient vastu and insentient vastu can combine? It is something like Viruddha Svabhavaha. Yushmat Asmat Pratyayoho Vishay Vishayinoho Tama Prakashavate Viruddha Svabhavatvat Itaretara Bhavanam Anupapapto. This is how Shankaracharya starts his Bhashya. He says that both are Viruddha Svabhava, opposite in nature, like darkness and light. A combination of darkness and light is not possible. Wherever light is there, darkness is not there. Wherever darkness is there, light is not there. But, see, in Kenopanishad, Bhagavan talk about it there. Our eyes are able to see both. Our eyes are able to see darkness and light at one time. How is that possible? Because the seer behind your eyes is beyond darkness and light. That is why. So, this Maya is inexplicable. Impossible. So, Swayam, that's why so beautifully it says, Sayam Bhagavato Maya. That is called Bhagavan's Maya. Yan Nayena Virudhyate. It beats all logic. Ishwarasya Vimuktasya Karpanya Mudabandhanam. Logically, it is not possible. And that Maya is the one that Ishwarasya Vimuktasya, the one who is away from Maya, Bhagavan, the one who forgets Bhagavan, that forgetfulness is the one that brings you bondage and misery. It is against all principle of rational understanding. Now he gives an example. Yadarthena vinamushya pumsa atma viparyaha pratiyata upadrashtuhu swashirachchedanadikaha. Just as in dream, a person can have the irrational experience of his own head being chopped off. The Atman can experience a change of his nature without undergoing any change. It's called Vivartavada. The rope without undergoing any change appears to be snake. So this is the nature of Maya. Yatha jale chandramasa kambadis tatkrito guna drishyate sannapi drashto atmano natmano gunaha. When, how you see, when the water is moving, the reflection of the moon looks as though moon is moving. But in fact, moon has no movement. So also, it is only the Atman, the reflected self, that is the self as identified with the body, that is subject to the defects of the body. The who suffers, the reflected consciousness identifying with our body, mind, intellect suffers. But Atma, Paramatma never suffers. Savai nivritti dharmena Vasudevanukampaya Bhagavat Bhakti Yogena Nirodhatte Shaneiriha. Now, the solution to this problem also, Maitreya Rishi gives, this defect is gradually removed by the practice of devotion, by the dedication of all your action to Bhagavan, and by the grace of Vasudeva, the soul of all soul. Bhagavat Bhakti Yogena Vasudeva Anukampaya Nivritti Dharmena. Nivritti Dharma means the withdrawal practice, means what? Detachment. Nivritti Dharmena. So once you are attached to the Lord, automatically everything else will leave you. Yadendriyo paramotha drashtatmani pare haro viliyante tada kleshaha samsuptasyesha krishtasaha. When the powers of the mind and body get concentrated and absorbed in the Supreme Being, Sri Hari, who is the seer in all bodies, then all miseries felt by one will get erased. Asheshasam kleshashamam vidatte gunanuvadashravanam murare kudappurastaccharanaravinda paragaseva ratiratmalapta. Murare, Muraha Arihi, Yasya. Mura became enemy of whom? Is called Murari. Mura means demon called Mura. Bhagavan is enemy to him. So that Murari says, Ashesha. So even the hearing of the excellences of Sri Hari is capable of removing the miseries of life. Then what to speak of that state of man who has attained to the state of loving devotion to that and delight in him, such a person. So listening to the glory of Bhagavan itself remove all miseries of life. Now, having said that, Vidurji continues his question. Samchinna samsayo mahyam tava suktasina vibho ubhayatra vibhagavan manome sambradhavati satvetat vyahritam vidvan atmamayayanam hare abhatya partham nirmolam vishwamulam nayatvahi yaccha mudatamo loke yaccha buddhe param gata tavubho sukhamete te klishyatyandharito janaha. Vidurji said he is appreciating the teaching of Maitra Rishi. Then he says this Maya has no independent existence apart from him. And I have understood that Maya cannot be understood at all. Try to understand Maya is a waste of time. That is why in all our Shastras, they don't spend more time in explaining Maya. Actually, they spend time in explaining Paramatma. What is the nature of truth? Once you know the nature of truth, Maya will disappear. So, 17th verse, Vidurji says, Yascha mutatamo loke, yascha buddhe param gataha, ta ubhau sukhame dete, klishyatyantharito janaha. Say those who are given absolutely to physical life and do not think of anything higher, and those who have gone beyond the buddhi and obtained intuitive understanding, these two people are happy, he says. The one who, completely ignorant about even the existence of Bhagavan and completely indulge in what material world, they are happy people. Then other side is the one who knows the nature of Bhagavan and seek that path. They are also happy. Now then he says, the sufferers are those who stand in between these two extremes. People like us. We are neither materialistic nor highly spiritual. We are in between. So that is why we suffer, he says. Now, called Visarga here, Sarga is creation of basic elements that we have seen. Now Visarga. So this Vidurji himself is telling. What is that? First Lord projected all categories, beginning with Mahattattva up to the Indriyas and Bhutas, and out of them he manifested Virat being, and into him after creating the Virat Rupa, Bhagavan entered that. That's why Taittiriya Upanishad says, Tat Srishtva tadevanupravishade. Having created, he entered. This is called Pravesha Shruti. The Pravesha Shruti has got lot of meaning. It is not something like you create a house and then on Graha Pravesha day you enter the house. It's not like that. Bhagavan created the world, he entered. That means what? World is different, he is different, isn't it? Now, you create the house in space, isn't it? Now, after creating the house, can you say space entered the house? Actually, you created the house in space only, isn't it? Without space, you cannot create the house. So there is no entry as such. So Bhagavan entered means what? The idea is Shankaracharya gives the beautiful commentary there in Taittiriya Upanishad, Pravesha Shruti. He says that the idea is Shruti wanted to tell us that don't look for Bhagavan elsewhere. He entered in you means look for that Lord within you only. Don't go anywhere else. That's the idea. The Pravesha Shruti. Then all those he's asking, tell about his power of manifestation by which the world came to be filled with people related to each other as sons, grandson, who are the Prajapatis, Brahma, along with Brahma, what creation, intermediate creation, and Manus, or the Lord of the period of time called Manvantara, did he create? Tell me about their lineage and histories. Manu Parampara, Manava. That creation of devas, serpent, birds, and they are called 4 types of wombs are there. So, Andajam, Jarayujam, Udbijam, Garbhajam. So, these are the 4 types of yonis. So, things that are born of egg, Andajam. Like our birds, reptiles, etc., they're all born of eggs. Then Garbhajam, like our called Jarayujam also. They are all human beings are born of womb. That is 2. Then Andajam. Then Svetajam is also born of sweat. That is also there, like bed bugs, lice, etc. They are all born of sweat, moisture. So, through moisture also so many bugs are born. Then Udbijam means born of earth. That is trees, plants, etc. They are born of earth. So these are the 4 types of the creation. Born of womb, sweat, egg, and earth. Describe that noble might of Mahavishnu by which he himself assumed Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. See here in Bhagavatam it is very clear. Bhagavan, Brahman himself is Brahmaji, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. So you should not quarrel. So I am a Vishnu follower, I am a Shiva follower, like that. Ultimately, one truth alone assumes all the 3. Then he says, describe also the Varnashrama Dharmas and tell me about Yajna and its performance, Yoga and their source, Sankhya, Tantra, which has its origin, the Lord himself. Think about the evils of atheism, different paths, explained the karma gati, explained of how the pursuit of four aims of life, dharmartha, kama, moksha, and what are the rules laid down about the duties of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras. Tell about the funeral obsequies, the origin of Pitras, about planets, stars, and galaxies. That will come in the 5th canto. What is the way of securing the grace of God, and to whom does He become gracious? Then he says, it is said that noble-minded teachers instruct their faithful students and sons even on matters on which they have not raised any question. So even if I have omitted anything to ask, please tell me that also. So Vidurji is very smart. Now, Maitreya Rishi answers, Maitreya Vacha, Satsevaniyo Batapurvamsho Yellokapalo Bhagavat Pradhana Babhuvi Deha Chitakirtimalam Pade Pade Nutanayasya Vishnam. Now he is going to give the lineage, the sampradaya of this knowledge, how the knowledge has come down. One sampradaya is Narayana, himself gave to Brahmaji, Brahmaji gave to Vasishtha, Vasishtha gave it to Parashara, Parashara gave this knowledge to Vyasa, Vyasa gave this knowledge to Shuka Maharshi, Shuka Maharshi gave this knowledge to Gaudavadacharya, Gaudavadacharya gave this to Govinda Bhagavatpada, Govinda Bhagavatpada gave this knowledge to Shankaracharya. And Shankaracharya gave it to his 4 disciples, and the immediate guru that you have is belonging to one of the 4 mathas. So, this knowledge, Guru Shishya Paramparaya, it is coming down. Now here, Maitreya Rishi is giving another tradition that is starting from Shesha Bhagavan. Shesha Bhagavan tradition is being told how knowledge has come down. Shesha Bhagavan gave this knowledge to Sanat Kumaras. They went to Patala, requested Sankarshana. Shesha Bhagavan is also called Sankarshana Bhagavan, Ananda Sheshanath. And Sanat Kumaras got it. And then they gave this to Sankhyaina Rishi. Sankhyaina Rishi gave it to Parashara. From Parashara, Maitreya Rishi got it. So that is how he gives the account of this tradition of knowledge coming from Bhagavan to this Maitreya Rishi himself. Now he starts describing the creation. From the 10th verse onwards. Ahindratalpe dishayanayeka Krudakshana swatmarato niriha Sondasharirirpida bhuta sukshma Kalapnikam shakti mudirayanaha. At the end of the creative cycle, the whole universe was plunged into the cosmic waters. It's called Pralaya. Pralaya means it is not total destruction. So there are different kinds of Pralaya. Nitya Pralaya means daily Pralaya. That we go to sleep. It is also called Pralaya. So all our faculties go into a dormant state. So this then Atyantika Pralaya, then Prakrita Pralaya, like that there are different Pralayas are there. It comes in the 12th canto very details. That time I will, if you survive that time, I will explain to you. So this Pralaya means what? It is not total destruction. All the objects will go into a dormant state. That's called Pralaya. Causal state. Then Mahavishnu alone lay on the serpent bed, all alone, his eyes closed, his activity suspended, and himself absorbed in the blissful self-awareness of cosmic yogic slumber. Then the time now he gives an example, just like fire in wood when it is not a flame. So in firewood, fire is available, but it is not manifest. The same way, the whole creation is there in Bhagavan in dormant state. That's why in our Shastra, creation is a misnomer. The word creation is not used in our Shastra. What is creation, we say, is not a new creation. What was there before, unmanifest, become manifest. That is called creation. Why? Because there is so much of argument is there in our Brihadaranya Upanishad and other Upanishad. There is so much of argument is there on this. There's in Brihadaranya Upanishad, there is one Bhashya Shankaracharya wrote that is called Gadabhashyam. In Gadabhashyam, it's very interesting. He says, a lump of clay. The pot is existing in that lump of clay or non-existing in the lump of clay. If you say answer, both you are in trouble. If you say it doesn't exist, then there is a problem. What is the problem? From a non-existent thing, an existent pot cannot come. But suppose you say it is existing already, then also you cannot say why. It is illogical. From an existent pot, another existent pot don't have to come because it's already existing. If you say non-existence, also problem. If you say existence, also problem. Then what is it? The pot was unmanifest in a lump of clay. Then what is that pot creation? Then unmanifest the possibility of a pot inherent in the lump of clay become manifest. That is called creation. Okay. I told you the whole thing in a very brief way, okay? But Shankaracharya writes 2-3 pages on that. Anyway, why I said this, because here it's said that like firewood in wood when it is not aflame. When he had thus spent a period of 1,000 Chatur-yugas in that slumber of self-awareness, his power of time stimulated his suspended power of action into operation. He saw within himself the whole universe in its ideal form, lying in dissolution in his own being. When he thus viewed the universe in latent condition in himself, those efficiencies burst out through his navel under the stimulation of the power of Rajas. All these efficiencies took the form of a lotus bud, and as it came out with its root in him, it illumined the expansive cosmic waters, just like the rising sun. Thereupon, there appeared in the lotus the creator Brahmaji, who is called the self-born and the embodiment of Vedas. Sitting in the center of that lotus, Brahmaji knows nothing, he saw nothing. He looked around the sky. That is how it is said he developed 4 faces. He looked around all 4 directions. He found himself in the lotus. He started thinking, who am I? Whose residence in this lotus? Where did I come from? Where is its base? The lotus base is where? It must be having some basis. Thinking like this, he tried to go into the depth of waters through the central hollow of the lotus stem, but he could not find the end. Defeated in his purpose, he came back to his original seat and he started concentrating, meditated upon the indwelling spirit, which he failed to realize before in his pursuit, seeking the truth outside than himself. Brahmaji had the vision of Lord finally. And Brahmaji's stuti is there. So this is the 9th chapter. Jnatosme metyas suchirannatu teha bhajam natnyayate bhagavato gadirit Nityavatyam Nanyatvadasti Bhagavannapi Tanna Shuddham Maya Gunavyadikarat Vipasi. O Lord, after practicing meditation for long, I have at last come to possess some understanding of Thee. This is a common deficiency of all embodied being, that they have no knowledge of Thee. Nothing exists besides You, O all-pervading being. The many that seem to exist are not really separate from You as independent existence. This division is the product of Your power Maya, whose gunas are manifested as the world of multiplicity. Like this, Brahmaji praises Bhagavan. Brahmaji's stuti is very beautiful here. Then Brahmaji was commissioned to engage in the creation. So Bhagavan said, the 29, 30 verses, Bhagavan Vacha, Ma Vedagarpa Gastandrim Sarga Udyamamavaha Tanmayapatidam Hyagre Yadmam Prarthayate Bhavan. So, O embodiment of Veda, do not get depressed and despondent. Begin the work of creation. What you are now seeking of me has already been granted to you earlier. So Brahmaji prayed to Bhagavan saying that the the activity of creation should not affect me. Because let me not be affected by the creation. Because sometimes what happens when we make small little things, we avoid our own creation. We get attached to it. We start showing to everybody. So, Brahmaji's request was, I create this world, but let me not get affected by this world. So Bhagavan blessed him. Practice concentration and communion with me again, and you will then find the world within in their ideal form, with all the obstructions removed. When your mind has thus got concentrated and filled with devotion, you will then see me as inherent and concurrent in the universe. You will also see all the worlds and all the jivas resting in me. Now, Bhagavan gives a Phalashruti here. Whoever daily worship me reciting this hymn of Brahmaji shall soon become propitious to him. All who are votaries of the Supreme Truth know that whatever men achieve through charitable work, austerities, yajnas, gift, yoga, all that is achieved only through my grace. O Brahma, I am the soul of all, and as such I should be the dearest of dear for all. See, because we love our body, because Bhagavan is in this body, because of him everything becomes dear to you. You are the embodiment of Veda and are born of me. without the aid of anything external, you proceed as in previous cycle to create all being that have become latent in me. Maitreji conclude, the Lord Padmanabha, who is the master of Prakriti and Purusha, having clarified the way of creation to Brahma, disappeared from the vision. How? Then the question comes, again Vidurji asked, after Bhagavan left, how did he create? Again the creation topic comes. We shall see that in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.